guys, welcome back to my channel. This is my husband Mike, and we made our new construction regrets video last week, and we just felt like we had a lot more to say. So we decided to make a second video with tips for those of you who are going into the home buying process. If you guys want to see more content like this, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, because this is part of a new series. I'm releasing new build home content on Sundays, as well as my additional Tuesday night uploads. Okay, so with that being said, we did just want to disclaim we're making this video from what we have experienced. Obviously, not everyone's new construction process is going to be exactly the same. We're not going to talk about who our builder is. That way we feel like we can totally talk about everything that's happened, the good and the bad. With all that being said, I think we would say, I mean, this has been an overall good experience.
Yes.
We would do this again. We're just telling you guys the negatives so that you can learn from them yourselves. If we just went through and said everything that we loved doing, it probably wouldn't make a great video. So, anyways, let's get into the new construction tips. All right, so our first tip is to ask lots of questions and be pushy if you need to. I could say at first, we both didn't want to be pushy in any kind of way. We just wanted to be easy clients, but it became very clear very quickly that you need to not only bring things to their attention, but you need to be pushy to get these things done, because these guys are so busy and it's very easy for them to write you off on things that are important to you. For example, we got a independent home inspection done and they found some mold on some of the framing. That was a big deal to me, because once you enclose that into a wall, that's not gonna go away without somebody fixing it. So I didn't want to start off with mold in the walls. So I brought it to our builder's attention at our pre-drywall meeting, and he said that it, quote, wasn't that big of a deal, and he doesn't really start to worry until he sees black mold. How did you think mold gets black?
And it looked kind of black to me.
Yeah, so I said, hey, would you mind getting this done? He's like, oh, okay, it's not that big of a deal, but yeah, if you want me to, I'll remove it. And then I said, would you mind sending me photos of you removing it? Because at that point, it's just his word. The drywall was going up the next day, so how do I know the mold is gone, you know? So.
Very pushy on that one, yes.
But it was good.
Yeah, it honestly, it just comes down to, I mean, like she said, there's a lot that they're doing, there's a lot of houses they're building, they got a lot on their plates, I get it, I understand it, but you know, you just have to be an advocate for yourself. But it's your home, it's your money, it's your investment. Yeah. It means something to you, and if it does, you got to push for it.
Right. Another thing is to ask questions. You might feel silly, but don't. There's a lot of questions that you might not know the answer to. So for example, I saw that our model had a skylight in it in some of the pictures that I had seen. So when we were doing our walkthrough, where the skylight was supposed to be, it was all closed off with no skylight. So I asked our contractor, is there supposed to be a skylight there, or is there any way to put a skylight in? And he's like, he looked at it, he's like, no, it might be a little tough to do in the future if you want to put one in there, but yeah, there's no skylight. And I was kind of bummed, because I was actually excited for that skylight. Yeah. And yesterday we walked into our house.
Lo and behold, there it is.
They had dug out the whole ceiling. Insulation was all over the floor. It was clear they made a mistake, and there was a skylight there. So had I been a little bit more pushy, I feel like I could have caught them in that in the very beginning, and we wouldn't have to have a delay with them ripping out what they had already done. But yeah, definitely don't second guess yourself, and if you have a question, just ask it. All right, so our next tip is to buy your own appliances, not the builder's. So the builder will usually provide you like a dishwasher and an oven, but you will most likely have to buy your refrigerator and washer dryer. A lot of people will go with them because they just want the convenience of it all being there at once on closing, but it is a lot cheaper to buy the appliances on your own. It's worth it. All right, so our next tip is definitely on the personal side of things. Obviously this is a personal choice, but this is just what we've found, and I think some of our neighbors have found, is if you are on the fence, pay for the upgrades. What I mean by this is when you go to design center, you have 4 hours, at least we had 4 hours. Some people have several appointments depending on your builder, but we had 4 hours to make every decision for our house. Luckily, we changed our floor plan, so we kind of had one design center appointment to learn from. So we made a lot of changes from our first design center appointment to our second, and a lot of those were extra upgrades, especially for things that are hard to change later, like a backsplash or countertops or cabinets. It might be worth it to do it all up front. Now that we're seeing everything finally be put into our home, we're so grateful that we did those upgrades because we won't really have to do much to the house.
No. I mean, if you're ultra handyman or woman and you know what you're doing and you can do that stuff on your own, yeah, that's a way to save a buck, sure. Disregard that whole last bit.
Yeah.
But if you're like us and I know what a wrench and a hammer looks like, but other than that, that's about it, then maybe you might want to do that. It's again a personal choice thing. Tip number 4, get independent home inspections done. I'll let Jen explain the rest. I did.
Good job, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as far as getting independent home inspections, I feel like you're really just paying for the peace of mind. Builders, not all builders, but most builders do just kind of try to scrape by with the bare minimum. You know, a lot of times builders won't even know things are wrong, or contractors. I feel like we found that out. Our contractor didn't even know a lot of the problems because these construction crews are just coming out and doing this work so quickly that things do fall through the cracks. For example, like our mold. Like I would have never known that there was mold in the walls, and our independent home inspector found it.
You like to think that they're going to do their inspections right, and then they're going to build it right, and they're going to fix it right and move forward. But again, who knows? This at least gives you that option of knowing.
Yes, so definitely if you're going through the process and you're on the fence, is it worth the extra money?
Yes.
I think it was about $900 for us for all 3 inspections total.
Yeah, maybe a little less, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe $700, but it's definitely worth it when you're making such a big investment. You're hundreds of thousands of dollars. A couple $100 to ensure everything is done right is really worth it, we think. All right, so our next tip is wait to buy your furniture until you are in the home. I feel like this was the hardest one for me, and this was definitely a regret of ours. We definitely didn't go by this rule, and we're paying for it now. I feel like half of the stuff we bought I'm going to be returning just because you know the layout and floor plan, so you kind of make guesses as to what you will need, but you truly don't know until you see the space with your own eyes and you get your other furniture in there and you can design other furniture around it. I've seen videos of people taping out their furniture once they have their living room and their drywall up, which that could probably work. We did not do that. It is so hard to wait. It is so exciting, especially when you're like us and you are moving from a tiny, tiny apartment to a whole house you get to decorate. It's fun when you see a deal and you want to go for it. And for some things that might work, like a console table, for example. There's plenty of places we can put a console table, and we'll probably need several in our new house. But I would just say at the end of the day, it is so worth it to wait. And I know I even watched videos where people said this to me, and I was kind of like, nah. But keep those receipts and make sure that it's something you could change out if you wanted to, because yeah, we regret that. All right, so this next tip is to take pictures and videos of your home in the same spot throughout the process. So this one's totally just for fun, but I feel like this is something that we wish we would have done earlier on. We kind of had these ideas halfway through and we started taking the pictures then, but I wish we would have gotten like the grass lot. If you are building and you haven't started yet, definitely make a plan in your head of a video you want to do, a time lapse you want to do, pictures you want to do, and be sure you get those videos, because we started taking drone videos actually looking down, and we didn't get the beginning stages. I still think it came out pretty cool. I'll insert it here.
We didn't have time to be think about the creative stuff.
Right. Things move very fast in new construction, so definitely have a plan going in if you want to document certain things. Like, I really wanted to have a picture just from the front in every stage, so I can line them up in a picture frame and put the picture of each one and hang it on the wall, like in a hallway or something. I just thought that'd be really cool and unique. This next tip is prepare for going into design center. And what we mean by this is, if you can, ask your builder or your design center for PDF versions of some of their options, because going in there you can be very overwhelmed. And now that the pandemic has happened, a lot of builders do have this virtual option where they can send you some of the options they offer, like flooring and countertops and cabinets, so you can review those, learn them, and then go in kind of having a game plan. Because if you don't, things just get very overwhelming very quick, and you'll pick things that you regret.
Even with all of the prep work that we did and the game plan that she went into it with, and I was just the quarterback kind of helping orchestrate things, you know.
The quarterback is the star. The quarterback's the main person.
All right, I was the wide receiver. I was just catching the bombs, you know, bringing it in, bringing it home. But even then, with all that prep, it still is very overwhelming. No matter how much confidence you have, you're going to have second guessing on some things. It's just going to happen, but try to lessen those as best you can.
Yeah. All right, so our next tip would be hire a good realtor that is familiar with new construction. And not only familiar with it, but they want to be on your side. Because the builder is going to represent the builder, and you need somebody at your meetings representing you. So you don't want to go through this process being your only advocate.
Especially if it's your first home.
Yeah. Also, another thing that our realtor helped us do was she set up all of our independent inspections, which it was very confusing if you don't know that you, number one, should be doing that, and number two, how and who to go through. So our realtor really helped us do that, which was super nice. We were actually out of town when we had our inspection done, and she scheduled the whole thing, and everything was emailed to our builder. We didn't have to do anything, so that's another really good tip. Okay, so our next tip is mentally prepare for delays. This is not a fun one by any means, but everybody that we have talked to that has gone through this process has been delayed by at least a month. My friend Melissa, her house got delayed, I think, by like a year and a half. So in the contract, most contractors have a 2-year time limit. So if something goes wrong, they have 2 years to get your house done. So mentally prepare for that. Our neighbors, they almost didn't have somewhere to live before they were moving in because of their delays. So whether it's foundation issues, failed inspections, weather, shortage of materials, which is a huge thing going on right now, there will be a delay. So set yourself up for that mentally, and don't be devastated when it happens, because it happens. So that's just part of signing on for a new build. All right, so our last tip is to be on top of your options. And what I mean by this is, as your house is being built, you want to make sure that everything you pick at Design Center is actually being put into your home. So for us, we almost missed something that they got wrong. We paid for these expensive stairs, and he was like, "Oh, you guys have a box stair." And I said, "No, we paid for the open tread stair." And he was like, So we went and we looked at the paperwork, and sure enough, we had the open tread stair, but they had put the box stair in. So
we know what we paid for.
yeah. So the reason you need to be on top of this stuff is because every time they get something wrong like that, it's usually a delay. You know, we've heard this is super common, and for example, the tilers, you might have paid for a herringbone pattern, but they put it in just regular.
You said Tylers, it's like the Tylers, like the Tyler family. No, you meant like the tile people.
Yeah, so just be on top of what they are kind of doing to your home. If maybe you are building long distance, you can get a neighbor or someone who lives close by to maybe go by every once in a while and take a video or some pictures for you, just so you could kind of keep an eye on things. Or if you do have a realtor, your realtor can go by every week and make sure everything's kind of in place. So, all right, guys, that is it for this video. If you like this video, please make sure to subscribe, because I have a lot more new build content coming your way. And
give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, do that too.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. We really appreciate it, because we do spend a lot of time making and editing these videos. Hope you guys found this helpful, and we will see you in our next video. Bye. Come on, babe. I don't have that much battery.
Oh, okay. All right, fine. All right, home tip. What is it? Things to do when buying? All right.
Number 4.
Tip number 4. She
Oh.
farted. It smells so bad.
Wait, really?
Yeah, she did.
Oh my god, I smell it.
It's so bad.
It wasn't you?
No, it wasn't me. That was her. She even got up.
You farted,
I
dog.
think she woke herself up with that one. That was nasty.
Ew,
Dog.
it does stink.
Yeah.
It doesn't smell like your farts either. It's definitely her.
That's a bad one. What did you eat?
This is not a fun one, but everybody
It's
that...
tip 9.
Oh, it's tip 9. Sometimes I shuffle them around.
Oh.